everybody, I'm Josh Douglas. I'm out here on the Potomac River in Virginia. Just got done with the Bassmaster Northern Open on the James River. These are kind of sister fisheries. They're right next to each other and they're both tidal, something that was relatively new for me. I had fished the James before but struggled with the tide. I didn't know when to zig, when to zag. This go around I put in a lot of effort and practice figuring out that tide, but it was easy. Some features from Lowrance and Navionics now make following that very easy, and it's amazing how much information we have at our fingertips in today's electronics, and all you have to do is utilize them to get the best out of them. A couple quick features I'm going to show you. The first one is following the tide chart and where you're at and how that affects your fishing. It's hugely important when you find a certain bite and what the tide is doing, whether that's on a high tide or on a low tide. Whatever it is, to be able to follow that along. Lowrance makes that very easy, and so does Navionics from their app. They actually change the map and the levels to show you what it'll look like differently, and I utilize both those tools consistently throughout the entire practice and tournament. Another feature too was Navionics mapping. Some of their new mapping, they actually highlighted some of the areas that had the best vegetation, and it really helped me when I'd follow the tide of being able to know when and where to go. It wasn't necessarily spots that I was fishing, but a pattern that I was fishing. And these few tools, you use these, I'm going to show you how to use them, you use them, and I promise you'll have more success next time you're fishing the tidal fishery. Check it out. Okay, the first thing is the tides, hugely important. You can see here, this is my Lowrance Gen 3 Touch 12. The tides are extremely easy to work with. So you can see, this is the tide chart emblem right here. This is my Navionics map. My Lowrance unit has this information. It's predictable. They know exactly when the tide's going to be, and 10 years from now they know exactly how the tide's going to come in. To utilize this function, all you have to do is hit your pages menu up here and hit tides. And this is the closest tide station to me. I can click the top button here and I can pick any one of these other tides that I want to see if that's where I'm going, to see what the tide's going to do there. Very easy to read when you're in this tide deal, is it'll show you this is high tide. You're going to have 2 tides a day. This is your high tide, that was at 3:01 a.m. Your low tide was at 9:52. Right now we are almost perfectly just past high tide again. That was at 3:31 and it's now 3:41, and again the next low tide will be at 9:54. So generally them low tides seem to be when the better bite is, and I can see these areas. Now the tide moves with the fishery as we go, so we were fishing 70 miles or so away from where we took off from, or where I was fishing was about 70 miles away from where that was, so I could actually look and pull it up what the tide's going to do later, and you can see a completely different set of tides, and know I can kind of get my timing right and follow the tide when I found what it was that I wanted to do. Lastly, my Navionics. Navionics came in huge here on this last tournament on the Open, and brought me a top 20 finish following that. Following not only the tides that they have on the app that'll actually fluctuate the water and show me, same deal, same tide chart. I mean, like I said, it's very predictable. I used my Lowrance more, but in practice, I could use this to find what areas, what I was looking for was what the tide wasn't going to affect as much. Steeper stuff that didn't give those fish, they didn't move that much on me during the tide, and my Navionics app would do that. I could see it, I could see the changes. But the other thing that I really like, if I restore my cursor back to the James River, this is in the Chickahominy, and it showed me where the grass was by these green highlighted regions right here. This was huge and hugely successful for me. It showed me kind of where some of them hydrilla areas were and padded areas were, and that's what I wanted to fish. That's what I wanted to be around. It's like at home for me. I followed my map here and just targeted these areas on it. You can see as we zoom in, these are the areas that have the best vegetation on them, and that's stuff that I wouldn't have known. I would have had to go around and burn gas and use up a practice day. Well, my Navionics map made my practice a whole heck of a lot more efficient, and it showed at the scales. So next time you're fishing the tidal fishery, check out these features. They're extremely easy to work with, and I think they'll help you out and get you on some bass a lot quicker. Till next time, see you on the water.